Melodies screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Melodies screaming, rubber birds on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Beasts make a friction, sparks light the night. Track of war zones, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Rivals on my six, but my grit don't waver. Drafting wind sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce compete. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skids twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straights we fly. Nitrous things pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game's flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah!
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening as the Metalheads Truck Series gets back underway here this evening. Last Monday off for the holiday, but we are back in action here from the state that does it the best. It's biggest, it's the best. It is Texas Motor Speedway. As Texas here, gonna be a great night for racing action here with these NASCAR trucks as qualifying coming to a close. We will get ready for our main feature event here in just a couple more moments as drivers will get lined up here down on the front straightaway here down pit lane, and they'll get ready to duke it out here for 167 laps of action here tonight for what is going to be another amazing show as we get our playoffs once again back underway. Last Monday that we were in action a couple weeks ago, we did see all these drivers go to battle. They duked it out here, and we had, I do believe it was 15 drivers in that first round of the playoffs. Now we are down to 10 drivers left to duke it out here for these playoffs. So that means that these guys are going to definitely have to be on their A game. They got to be making sure that they do not make a mistake. They do not run into problems. There's only 3 races here in this second round, and if you want a chance to be a part of our championship race in 3 weeks' time, you gotta be there to be able to get into it. And here we go. These are the 10 drivers that are left to battle here in the playoffs. Matt Hayden comes in with a little bit of a points lead, only about 4 points between himself and that 10th place driver, so not a huge differential area there for these playoff points coming into this round. So it's really going to matter. Every single position, every single point, everything that you can get is going to matter here to try to work yourself into that championship race. As Hayden, Caleb Kleinert, Matthew Catania, that number 46 is Skylar Berry, Daniel Dow, Colton Hardy, Michael Madden, Rusty Modesty, Justin Rodden, and Clinton Woodby are 10 drivers to duke it out. 10 drivers left here in our playoffs to try and put themselves up and in to that championship race in a few weeks. As here we go, we're going to get them all rolling out onto the racetrack, ready to rumble, ready to go to battle. As starting on the pole, it is the 0-0 of Nate Cogdell. Cogdell on the Sonic Graphic Designs Silverado going to start here in the top position. To his outside in that Toyota, that is the beautiful Sparkle and Shine Anything EC machine of Daniel Dow. Is back in position number 3 is the 3 ride. It is that number 3 machine, that Deaf Awareness Month number 3 ride of Keith Prince. To his outside in the winning bid 92, that is Clinton Woodby. I don't know why I keep saying Colton. It's Clinton Woodby there in that 92 ride. The winning bid machine will start there in position number 4. Starting in the 5th position, the 318, the Sonic Sour NOS Energy 318 ride here this evening. It is Matthew Catania. To his outside, and one of our playoff drivers that unfortunately did not make it through that first round, it is the Napa Auto Parts ride of Nick Gardner, rounding out our top 6. Back in 7th, it is the Sparkle and Shine Anything EC number 15 of Michael Madden. To his outside, the 0-1, that is Rooster Rodden. Starting in position number 9, our points leader coming into this race here for the championship 10, it is Matt Hayden, who will start there in 9th. To his outside in the QH Design Ghost Energy number 97, it is Colton Hardy. Starting in position number 11 in the 33 ride, that is Jimmy Fitzmaurice Jr. To his outside, that 87 of the Ridge Power Sports KR Gunners ride, it is John Herbert. Then we see the 46, another Ghost Energy machine. It's Skylar Berry with Rusty Modesty, Caleb Kleiner, Kevin Wenker, Michael Newman. Turn back there in 17th, and then unfortunately not jumping out there to start this race is Joe Bennett and Jesse Galloway. 17 drivers go to battle here this evening as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing here from Texas Motor Speedway. Daniel Dow able to quickly snag that race lead away from Nate Cogdell. Cogdell sticking right there to his back bumper, looking to the outside here, trying to drag race back to the start finish line, but for the 0-0 will not lead lap number 1 here this evening as Daniel Dow out in front is able to get that lap led, but all of a sudden here we go, power down on the outside lane for the 0-0 machine. It's Nate Cogdell who takes the lead back away, and now Cogdell looking to instantly try to open up a bit of a lead here. Daniel Dow goes to the high side. Looks like he is falling back like a rock out there on the racetrack. My gosh. Led a lap and now instantly falls back into about that 7th position as Cogdell opens up about a 1.1 second lead advantage. Now between himself and Keith Prince is Prince has that 318 of Catania right there on his back bumper. Is the big name of the game here is probably going to be trying to survive, trying to be very strategic, trying to make sure that you're making the right calls, the right moves at the right time, and making sure that you can try to salvage as much as you can here out of your tires. Tires are going to be a hot commodity here tonight. We're going to see some pretty good tire fall off between all of these drivers. So being a little bit more cautious, a little bit more safe, trying to save these tires early on may be the big difference maker between finding victory lane or not, as we already see some drivers trying to run a lot slower lap times. When you look back there at Daniel Dow, last time around, his quickest lap time of this race, even after leading that opening lap for that number 2 machine, is over a second slower than Nate Cogdell's fastest lap time. So the tire fall off is going to be massive. We're going to see a lot of drivers trying to play that strategy where they're trying to save, let the cars, let the trucks kind of come to them, let the track kind of get worked in, and obviously let the other drivers kind of fade back, let them burn their stuff up, and allow you to kind of reel into them, catch them later in the run, and then make your move back around them. As here we go, we see that 2 right continue to slide backwards here. I do believe we're going to see his teammate on the same strategy here. When we look back at the 15 right on Michael Madden, Madden's in the same group. He's even being more aggressive. His quickest lap time about 2 seconds slower than our race leader's quickest lap time here this evening. So for Nate Cogdell, Rooster Ron, and some of these drivers that are running, right down into the 29-second bracket, are they playing the right cards here? Are they going too hard too early? Are they potentially burning up these tires quicker than what I think they are imagining, where potentially all these guys that are saving back there could catch up to them, could make some moves, could put themselves into a good position here later in this race? As we'll take a look here at our race info. We do get some nice race info here. So we do have a stage break, the completion of lap 35. So the top 5 will earn stage points, and if you're one of our playoff drivers, to earn those stage points, those are massive. It could take a mediocre day and still turn it into a very good points day if you can jump up and get some bonus points here. Put them into your back pocket, have them to your advantage here for later in the race. And at the same point in time, we only have 3 sets of tires back there behind pit wall. So 3 sets of tires definitely can make things very, very interesting. Drivers may elect to use these tires as quickly and as often as they want, and then not have any really left for late in the race, especially if there is a late race caution flag. It could potentially work into their favor. It could obviously blow up in their face. And now for the drivers that are on the opposite side of that, trying to save those tires, trying to maybe save a set for later on in the night where they can put them on and just kind of flip the reversal rolls here. Put the power down, drive right around these other guys that may be out of tires or may have to be on older tires. Potentially that could open up the door for them to make some big moves later in this race. So as of right now, it seems like it's the good plan to kind of just be hanging back there. But if you're a playoff driver, if you're one of those playoff competitors, to be able to slide up there and earn those stage points is a almost must. As you do see Nate Cogdell and Rooster Rodden sitting there in the top 2 positions. They've already opened up a massive lead, over 3 seconds between themselves and our 3rd place driver, John Herbert. As Herbert up 9 positions, rolls back there in that 3rd spot on the racetrack. He is currently 3.2 seconds behind our race leader. As you do see Cogdell able to lead another lap. Rooster Rodden trying to stay right there with him, looking to try to take that race lead away, as we're only 10 laps into a 35-lap run. Biting some caution flags here. That's still a pretty good chunk of change. That's a lot of laps. And as you continue to keep running, keep pushing your car, and keep putting very, very strenuous laps onto these tires, you could potentially start to fade away here and make it that much easier for the drivers that are saving back behind you. So everyone's going to be on their tippy toes here this evening as Kevin Winker, K-Dub, with that heart reaction here on the broadcast. Our boy, Mr. Thomas Dennis. How are you, Thomas? Thomas coming in with that like on the stream. And Steven Stokes. How are you, Steven? Steven coming in, dropping that thumbs up over there on Facebook as well. How are you, Steven? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful night of, just enjoying yourself and enjoying some great racing, trying to wash away the Monday blues. As here we go, we do see that 0-1, a Rooster Run able to take the race lead away from Cogdell. Cogdell, though, sticking right there with them. They have now opened up their lead about of 3.5 seconds, maybe just a little over 3.5 seconds between themselves and John Herbert. Colton Hardy rolls there in position number 4. Matthew Catania back here in position number 5. Last time around, everyone inside our top, I'm going to say probably 7 or so roughly right around the same lap times, somewhere in between that 30.3 to 30.5 second bracket there. So a lot of these drivers, are still pushing their car, still really burning up these tires. When we look back outside our top 7, they get a whole lot more aggressive here with their tire savings. We look back at Keith Prince and Kevin Winker, even Rusty Modesty here in 10th. But you look at our points leader Matt Hayden, maybe giving up on some of the stage points here to really just keep himself in the game for late in the race. Being there late in the race, having a chance to win the race could be the most points that you could get here on the evening, as we do see Nick Gardner back there in 12th now. We see Jimmy Fitzmaurice back in 13th. Caleb Kleinert, he's moved up one spot, but he's only back in 14th. Hasn't really been too aggressive here. Daniel Dow rolls there in that 15th position. Michael Madden back in 16th. Clinton Woodby there in 17th. So for a lot of our drivers that are in the playoffs, they've taken that strategy of just kind of hanging out, not burning their stuff up, not wanting to use these tires up too quickly here this evening, knowing that we could go virtually clean and green here this evening other than our stage break. We've seen it time and time again here with these drivers. We've seen it time and time again in our Tuesday night truck series that has a lot of these drivers. When we come to a racetrack like Texas, we can run 120, 150, 200 laps without seeing a single caution flag out there on the racetrack. So with the stage break happening, at least that gives us one yellow flag. One time we will restack everybody, and that's really where some of the strategy starts to come into play. We could see drivers up towards the front, maybe burning a set of tires off early on here this evening and just electing to get those stage points here today, and then obviously they're going to be back a set. The drivers that are back here saving aggressively that are now, multiple seconds down here. When we look back at, like Nick Gardner, he's 16 seconds behind our race leaders. Caleb Kleiner almost 18 seconds back. Daniel Down 19 seconds. Michael Madden 19 seconds. Clinton Woodby saving even more. He's back 26 seconds behind our race leaders. So that's just showing you really how much they have given up, how much they have fallen back, just trying to save as much tire as possible here for potentially kind of flipping the stage and kind of making things a little bit more strenuous for the drivers that are on the 8 ball here, that are on the gas pedal, that are burning up their stuff right now. As we can see the tire fall off for these guys, they are not saving, but they are getting quite a bit slower. They are about a second slower than what they were running in the initial few green flag laps here this evening. Even for some of them that were saving tire, they are falling back about half a second from what they started as. And when we look back at Catania, John Herbert, some of these guys that haven't even touched a 29-second lap time yet, they are falling back and almost running towards that 31-second bracket. So they are really starting to feel the pressure and the pain on these tires. They're starting to slip and slide around. They can't be as hard on the throttle, and that is going to cause them to continue to potentially fall backwards here throughout this race. We do see John Herbert now fall back to 4th as Matthew Catania looks to move around him. Now, the big question is going to be, do we see any of these drivers that were saving aggressively early on start to work their way up towards the front? Do they even have enough time here with only 15 laps left to go here in this stage to catch up to our race leaders, to maybe steal that stage away from them? Or do they just continue to save, wanting to keep that extra set of tires back there behind pit wall, not wanting to burn them up here on lap 35? That could be the big game plan here today, as Rooster Rodden and Nate Cogdell, they continue to battle here for this race lead. They are still about 3.6 seconds in front of our third place driver, so they have a huge lead, a big advantage here throughout this first stage of the day. But they've really got to wonder on what are they giving up for it? What is on the line here? There are stage points. So for drivers that are in our playoffs, those stage points, they could be dire. They could definitely help potentially transfer you into the next round of our playoffs or not. Let's see if we can get a quick look here at our playoff drivers once again here this evening. So there we go. There is a list of all the drivers that are in our playoffs. Justin Rodden, who's down low here in that 0-1 ride, he is one of our playoff contenders still. I do believe the 0-0 did not transfer through. So unfortunately for Nate Cogdell, no longer a part of our hunt for the championship. But for the 0-0, he is much in the hunt for a race win here on the season, so he's going to be doing everything he can. You look back in third, Matthew Catania, he's in there. He is running in that third spot, still running pretty hard out there on the racetrack. And you look even farther back, you see other drivers that are part of our playoffs that are right in this mix. When you look at Skylar Berry, you look at Colton Hardy, they're back here. They're two drivers that are in our playoffs. They've been pretty much on the throttle here from the get-go as well. Maybe not as hard as our race leaders, but they've still been giving up quite a bit. And then we get a few drivers that are not a part of the playoffs. And then we look back here at drivers like Rusty Modesty, Matt Hayden. You look back at, Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Caleb Kleiner, Clinton Woodby, who have been saving tires aggressively here already in this first stage and trying to kind of work themselves into a little bit of magic maybe later in this race. As out in front, it is still a fight here at the front of the field as these two continue to keep switching positions here. Cogdell looking to play devil's advocate here, looking to maybe try to steal some bonus points and some playoff points away from our playoff drivers here as Rooster Ron, and he's trying to make sure that he uses these tires to his advantage. It may hurt him in the long run, but as of right now, trying to win this stage is a big 5 points that go in to his back pocket that could make the difference between advancing into our championship 5 or unfortunately not making it into that championship race in 3 weeks. So you really got to play, the risk versus reward. And as of right now, for that 0-1 ride, he sees a lot more reward over risk here. And I believe we're going to see potential at 318 of Catania hunting them down here as well. He has closed the gap. He has pulled away from John Herbert, Colton Hardy, Skylar Berry. They have fallen backwards here, but for that 318 ride, even though he was still fairly aggressive with the tires here early in the run compared to some of those other drivers deeper in the pack, he is hunting these guys down. And the more that they continue to battle, they get side by side, they start switching positions. It is just opening the door for him to find a quicker way around and hunt them down even faster. It is less than 2 seconds between our race leader, Nate Cogdell, in that 318 ride of Matthew Catania as they head down across the line. They complete lap number 27, meaning that we got 8 laps left to go here in this stage. So 8 laps left here in this stage. Does Catania have enough to fight for this stage win, or will he just have to settle in for potentially a third place run? He may be able to catch them, but trying to pass them, that could be a whole different ball game. It may be even tougher just to find a lane or find a area to make a move and try to steal second away from Rooster Rodden or potentially the race lead from Nate Cogdell, because they are not just going to move over and give it up to the 318 ride. He is going to have to earn it every single opportunity that he gets to their back bumper. He'll have to try to take those runs and hope that it sticks and hope that he can make his way up towards the front here by the end of this stage, as it is now about 1.7 seconds the gap between himself and our race leader. So he is reeling them in. It is not super duper quick, but he is clicking off a 10th or 2 every single lap, and he is getting there. But will he run at a time? 6 laps left here in this stage. It's going to get very, very interesting here. As Playford Sheets, what's good, Playford? Playford coming in with the like on the stream. Eric Hardy coming in as well. Hardy with that beautiful showing the love here in this one. Says 97, baby. Let's go, he says. Let's go. Says Darby and I are cheering on our driver, number 97. Cheering on Mr. Colton Hardy here this evening. Colton right now rolling in that 5th position. He's in the last spot here in the top 5 to earn some stage points. I know that him and his teammate back there, Skylar Berry, would love to try to move forward a little bit more here. We'll have to wait and see if they make some aggressive moves in the final closing laps of this stage to try to seal position number 4 in potentially that 5th spot away from the number 87 of John Herbert, knowing that they've been still using up their tires. They've been burning their equipment up here early in this race. They want to make sure that they can at least get something out of it. For Colton Hardy, he is in a bonus point position. I know they would love to move forward, at least steal one more, and try to get that 46 ride a stage point here as well. 2 of our playoff drivers that are right there on the hunt towards the front here this evening and try to lock themselves into our championship in a few weeks. As here we go out in front, Nate Cogdell continuing to lead the way, but you see Rooster Rodden right there on his back bumper. It's about a second now to that 318 ride of Catania. He continues to hunt them down, and now here we go. Rooster Rodden gonna try to split the stage here. Comes down pit road early. That is a big, big move, and it's going to hurt him majorly. A black flag too fast entering for the 0-1 of Rooster Ronin. So Rooster heads down pit side here and unfortunately picks himself up a black flag down on pit road entry. That could potentially cost him a championship run here this year, as he's going to get service done to this car. He's going to try to get this thing rolling back out onto the racetrack, obviously get a full tank of fuel. What he was planning on doing was hoping that he could either flip the stage and stay on the lead lap. I don't know if he was going to stay on the lead lap there or not. I don't think he was going to be able to make it, and obviously making that late decision, he is now stuck down on pit road here. He has already fallen a lap down where he is in the free pass position. He could get the wave around into the lucky dog, but he's got to be careful because obviously we're going to see other drivers now roll around him here as well, and potentially Nate Congdale going to steal another lap away from him here, as that penalty down pit road going to cost him majorly here. So for our race leader, Nate Congdale, it is 1 lap left to go here. He's got 0.6 of a second between himself and that 318 rider, Matthew Catania. So for Congdale, looking to try to win this stage, trying to steal some points away from our playoff drivers. And here we go. We finally see the 0-1 of Rooster Ronin come out of the pits. So Rooster comes out of pit road, but unfortunately the damage is already done. He is 2 laps down. He may get a lap back here, as here we go down across the line. It is Nate Congdale who wins stage number 1 here this evening from Texas, as Congdale wins the stage. Catania there in second. John Herbert will come home in third. Colton Hardy in fourth, and Skylar Berry rounding out our top 5, all earning some bonus points here today for the stages. Obviously much more detrimental and much more meaningful for that second place driver, Matthew Catania, for Colton Hardy and Skylar Berry. 3 of our championship 10 earning those stage points, having those in their back pocket and being able to use them later in this potential race or throughout the rest of our second round here of these playoffs to try to advance into that championship. So big moves there for them, stealing some of those points. And now we do see John Herbert make his way down pit road a little bit early here. Obviously tight on fuel for the 87. May have just ran that thing dry here, and unfortunately had to come down pit road, get some fuel into this truck. So he is going to lose a bunch of track position pitting early here this evening. For Nate Congdale, he's hoping that he still has enough left in the tank that he can get back to the pit road here, so that way he can make his to be down through there and being able to make a way. As you do see the 318, he's down on the apron. A couple of these other drivers down on the apron as well, so fuel may have been very tight as they've lost a few spots here, just rolling it down on the racetrack, trying to coast their way into their pit stalls as everybody else now makes their way down pit side. And the big question is going to be for drivers like Matt Hayden, Daniel Dow, Michael Matt, and some of these guys that were saving tires aggressively. What is their game plan? What are they going to do? Will it be tires, or is it going to be fuel only and trying to save a set for later in this race? We'll have to wait and see. You do see a few of these trucks getting jacked up. You do see the 5 ride, he's not getting jacked up here, so no tires going onto this 5 machine. We see obviously Catania, we see a couple of these other drivers getting fuel only here. You do see Clinton Woodby, he's getting fuel only. Daniel Dow fuel only. So a lot of these drivers taking advantage of this pit cycle here, and this is really going to make things interesting throughout the race. Things are going to get very wild in a quick hurry, as this is going to get very interesting for a lot of these drivers, for a lot of these cats out there, knowing that potentially things could get very interesting in a quick hurry on this pit cycle, on this pit strategy, on trying to figure out where they can be, where they can use these tires to try to help them out later in this race. As John Bernard Sr. says, let's go 3, says free double cheeseburgers if the 3 car makes it to victory lane. Oh, baby, everyone else pull over, let the 3 car win here tonight. No, I'm just kidding. Mandy Barry says, let's go Barry, proud of you son and cheering you on. We love that, Mandy. We appreciate you coming in, showing the love here in this one. As Michael Cogdell says, nice job, Nate. Cheering on Nate Cogdell here this evening says, good job, Nate, here this evening, as John Bernard says, decisions will be critical in this race. They will very much be critical here this evening, and we have already seen those critical decisions being a part of this race. We saw a handful of drivers that saved aggressively early on, and then obviously we saw drivers that were on the throttle, that were burning through those tires. They cannot last out there. They will probably get the doors blown off them if they don't take tires right now. So to try to keep yourself from going a lap down or putting yourself into a bad position, you come down pit side and you put those tires on. So if you're a driver like potentially Keith Prince, but Skylar Berry, Nate Cogdell, you look back at Matthew Catania, we saw him putting tires on. To his race car, Colton Hardy put tires on. So some of these drivers, now, having to use their tires up early in this race, it did earn them some stage points, which could definitely help them out, but will it be the best move late in this race to not have that extra set of tires in your back pocket, to not be able to use them to help yourself out here later in the race? That's where it's going to become the big question mark. You know, you give up time, you give up track position, anything else maybe throughout that first stage and maybe throughout this first run if you're on the older tires. But at the same point in time, you gotta get to reverse everything else. Where we saw these guys pull away and open up those big leads, they're going to be giving that up later in the race, trying to save tires themselves, where other drivers are going to be on those fresher tires and can use it to their advantage. So we'll see how this plays out. Is out in front. It is Cogdell up around the outside, looking to quickly move around that three machine to Keith Prince. So Prince going to lose that top spot. He'll fall back into position number 2 as Nate Cogdell, our stage winner, back out in front. So Cogdell takes over the race lead once again, and now we got to look for all those drivers that may have been on the older tires. What is their game plan? How do they run this? Do they just try to run as hard as they can from this point going forward, you know, for the next, 30, 40 laps before they do make a green flag pit stop here this evening? See the 5 ride. He is hard on it. He's trying to stick right here with the fresher tires that are around him. The 3 ride of Keith Prince trying to stick here with him as well, but now the 5 ride down to the inside of the 318, and I think that's going to be the game plan for a lot of those guys that had to take the fresh tires right here, is that they may be on that saving mode now. They may be trying to save, knowing that this could be a long green flag run, and the way that they can get that set of tires back is by doing virtually what we saw everyone else do there throughout that first stage. Just try to keep rolling, wait for that first green flag pit stop, maybe not take tires, put fuel into your race car only, and then just try to survive, stay on the lead lap, stay out of trouble here until late in this race before you can kind of make some more moves. As we did see Rooster on it, unfortunately came down pit road, a green flag pit stop. We saw how treacherous the green flag pit stops can be here with only one car making that green flag pit stop here throughout that first run, and for the 0-1 ride, got the black flag. Unfortunately got held down on pit road for probably about a minute for speeding down pit side, and unfortunately did fall 2 laps down. Now he did get the lucky dog. He is back to only 1 lap down, and if we are to see a caution flag come back out here the next little bit before anyone else loses a lap, he is in position to get that lucky dog again and get back onto the lead lap. But now for the big question is going to be for Rooster Rodden, is that how much is he going to have to give up? He's trying to run hard right now. He's burning up his new fresh tires, and obviously as he continues to roll out there, our race leader is running fast laps as well, and already starting to try to, maybe open up a huge advantage and pull away from everybody else, as he's got about a 4-second lead. It's Cogdell out in front and just running away from everybody. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll ponder what this potential strategy call is out of Cogdell. We saw that the tires held on for a pretty good amount there before the tire wear off really became a major factor. That 30-35 lap run, you really start to see these guys start to go from running, inside 29-second lap times to all of a sudden falling outside of a 31-second lap time. So you really give up a lot on the later half of these runs, but if you can open up a big enough lead where they won't have enough time to even catch you, even with the better tires, they may not be able to hunt you down quick enough before, having to make that first wave of green flag pit stops. So we'll have to wait and see But the game plan is here for Nate Cogdell. If you come down pit road again after another 35, even 40 laps, it's going to put us somewhere right around lap number 80, which is virtually halfway through this race. Somewhere around there. So, yeah, this is going to get interesting because you do have 3 sets back behind pit wall. They use 1 setup during that first run. Use another setup here during this second run. The third run, you get to use them again. The fourth run, you get to use them again. So you should have enough tires, ideally, to have pretty decent tires and good tires every pit stop throughout this race. But the big question is the guys that have the extra set in their back pocket, if we see a late race caution flag, if we see something happen in the middle of one of these runs where you can't afford to use those tires, that's the big question. That is the big area that could hurt you and put you behind the 8 ball here today. So that is going to be the big key to success. But we could see this stay clean and green. And for the 0-0 ride of Nate Cogdell, if he continues to just open up big leads here, continues to pull away from everybody else, potentially this strategy will play out perfectly into his hands. And by the time that, fresher tires come onto the racetrack and try to hunt him down, they may not have enough time at all to even get close to sniffing the back bumper of this 0-0 ride. But those caution flags could potentially throw a huge wrench into the game plan here for drivers like Nate Cogdell, for Colton Hardy, for let's take a look back here for the number 318 of Matthew Catania, for some of these other drivers like Skylar Berry, the guys that were fast early on that were using up that first set of tires and now have to roll their second set. You look back at Michael Newman, John Herbert, some of these guys unfortunately are going to be now on that opposite side of the spectrum, and they're going to be falling back here. We already see John Herbert back here in 15th. We take a look at Skylar Berry and some of these other drivers that were on that strategy. They're already feeling it. Even though they got the fresher tires, they aren't really necessarily better tires than what the guys were that were saving them. They're probably a little bit better, but they're trying to balance out the tires and trying to balance out that strategy here. It's going to be very, very tough to do, especially during the green flag conditions. During the yellow flag there, it makes an easy call. You know that there's going to be a stage break. You know you're going to be able to get fuel, and you're not going to have to make a green flag pit stop. So it made it a very easy call for some of them. For others, obviously taking the strategy of getting stage points, trying to run that route, kind of work for them. And we did see for a couple of these guys that they were getting very, very close on fuel after 35, 36, 37 laps of racing. So I think that's kind of the pit window, which kind of adds in an extra pit probably. I'm assuming we're going to see another pit stop coming up here, not shortly, but somewhere around, I'm going to say lap 70, somewhere around there. Lap 70, maybe lap 72, 73, somewhere in there. We're really going to start to see drivers come down pit side, and then it also opens up the door for short pits. Drivers late in this race with the extra set of tires could almost make 2 separate pit stops in the final run. They may be giving up a lot of time on the track by making a green flag pit stop, but at the same point in time, they could have those even fresher tires than everybody else, and they could be really on their A game and just kind of roll around the racetrack and pass everybody again, as we can see how good the fresh tires are and how much quicker they are from drivers that are holding back, drivers that are still saving here. Nate Cogdell, who's been right on the ball since the drop of the green flag here in the second half of the race, the second stage. Cogdell has a 10-second lead here. Cogdell's out in front. Here's our race leaders, our second place driver, just going past the start-finish line here as he rolls down through corner number 1 and out of corner number 2. To give you a good perspective here, our race leader is already through corner 3 and going through corner number 4 as Matt Hayden is just leaving the back straightaway. We can bring up the track map here and show you guys really the difference here. Let's take a look at the track map here. So there is the track map. So the one that's heading down into the bottom left-hand corner of that track map, the green highlighted 0-1, that is our race leader. That is Nate Cogdell. Look back at the 2-position car in 3, 4, 5, all those cars back there behind him. they are already 3/4, almost half a lap behind this 0-0. So even though they're safe and tire, everything else, they continue to fall farther and farther away from this 0-0 ride with such a massive lead, such a big advantage out there on the racetrack. And he's starting to reel into the tail end of this pack. Down the back straightaway, Cogdell currently right now is about a straightaway, a corner, set of corners back away from our 16th place driver out there on the racetrack. So that's just how interesting this is going to get here with the tire savings, the tire conservation, and the game plan out of a lot of these drivers, because that could put them into a very, very tough spot in a quick hurry, especially if you're that far behind our race leader. Not only could you fall a lap down with an earlier pit stop, you could fall 2 laps down being this far back from that one ride. A untimely caution flag and being a couple laps down, we saw how that's already affected that 0-1 machine of Rooster Rodden as Rodden came down pit road and made that pit stop there. Obviously got a penalty, had to get held down pit lane. Did fall 2 laps down, almost 3 laps down. He's still a lap down if they're on the racetrack. He just made the pass around our 4th place driver. That's Daniel Down, that he just made the move around. So for the 0-1 ride of Rooster Rodden, he's got a fast truck, he's got a fast hot rod, but as of right now, he is still a lap down, even though he's technically the 4th truck in line here to our race leader. There's Nate Cogdell, there's Catania, there's Matt Hayden, and what would be our 4th place driver is that 0-1 of Rooster Rodden. But that mistake down pit side and making that green flag pit stop cost him a 2 laps there down pit road. Did not get the lucky dog to get back on the lead lap. Got the lucky dog to go 1 lap down. He is in position to be that car 1 lap down again if we see a caution flag. But if we don't see a yellow flag, for a driver like Kevin Winker, he is not too far away from potentially going a lap down here himself on the same straightaway. Less than half a straightaway away from potentially passing K-Dub. Mr. Winker could go a lap down, and that would move Rooster Rodden out of that free pass position. That would put Rooster back in 2nd for the lap down cars, where if we saw a caution flag, he would not get the lucky dog, and that would put him into another tough situation later and later into this race. And if that keeps happening, it's going to continue to hurt and continue to trap this number 0-1 potentially back there in that 17th position. And for a playoff driver to be back in 17th and knowing that you're kind of trapped in that 17th spot out there on the racetrack, you may not be able to recover from that. If we don't see another yellow flag for the rest of this race, Rooster Rodden may never get that lap back, and that may be pretty much the end of his race back there deep in the field and getting virtually no points on the afternoon. That'll put him into a massive hole if he wants to try and put himself into our championship race. As Cogdell continues to lead the way, 12.5 seconds. The gap between himself and Matthew Catania, 12.5 seconds here. There is that 3:18 ride. He's about to head down across the start finish line right there, as there's our race leader down at a corner number 2 and already heading down the back straightaway. It's no limits Texas for a reason, as there's no limits and there's no bounds to what this race could play out as. And for all these different strategies, it's going to be one that we're going to be sitting on our tippy toes, waiting all night long to figure out who will put themselves into victory lane here today. It is going to get very, very wild. Every single pit stop, every single moment, everyone is going to be on the edge of their seats, just trying to figure out if their game plan is going to work, if the strategy is going to work, if it'll play out into their favor. We do not know. But as of right now, Nate Cogdell with a massive lead, stretching out to almost 13 seconds now between himself and Matthew Catania, and we inch closer and closer to seeing our first wave of green flag pit stops. Everyone came down pit road on lap 37. We virtually got to lap 37, maybe lap 35 for some of these drivers before fuel really started to become an issue. So for a lot of these drivers, you know that lap 70, lap maybe 72, 74 is going to be that big number to hit, and we may see some drivers try to make it early down pit road, try to get down and out as soon as possible, and we already start to see that happening only 63 laps into this race. Here comes Michael Newman making his first green flag pit stop, the first driver down pit road taking this early strategy, and as of right now for the 12 ride, he's not in the free pass position. He's already a lap down out there on the racetrack, and for that 0-0 of Nate Cogdell, if this is the game plan, if he can kind of get down pit road, make a good pit stop here, and still try to hold a pretty massive lead, he could put a new set of fresh tires on and just continue to try and pull away from everybody else again. Try to pull farther and farther out in front and leave all these other guys back there in the dust. As we do see the 318 machine of Catania back there in position number 2. Yeah, he is virtually half a lap back of Nate Cogdell now. That is absolutely wild. What a bold strategy here out of Cogdell here this evening. As Catania there in second, Hayden there in third. Daniel Dow, Michael Madden, Caleb Kleinert, Clinton Woodby, our top 7. Now, for a lot of these drivers, excluding Nate Cogdell and Matthew Catania, all these guys inside our top 9. Going back to Keith Prince, Nick Gardner, Clinton Woodby, Caleb Kleinert, Michael Madden, Daniel Dow, Matt Hayden. They didn't take tires during that first stage. They didn't take tires during that stage break. For Nate Cogdell, Matthew Catania, they did burn a set of tires up there during that first stage. And here you go. You see the other driver that took tires as well. That 0-1 of Rooster Rodden as he's trying to make the move around the 318 ride, which is a battle for what would be second if he did not fall 2 laps down there during that first stage, making that early pit stop, coming down pit road during the green flag. Now, you do take a look farther back at the 10th place driver, the 97 rider, Colton Hardy. Colton did take a set of fresh tires, but during this run, he's been a lot easier on these tires. He's been taking it quite a bit softer, not really pushing these tires as much as a lot of these other drivers like Catania out there on the racetrack, or that 0-1 of Rooster Rodden, where they are burning through this set in a quick hurry. And late in the race, man, I don't know how this is going to play out for them. Obviously, if it stays clean and green, it could help them out a ton, but you can already see how much of a difference just, 26 laps can do. 26 laps for a pit cycle as the 12 ride. Gets himself a lap back here. Michael Newman goes right on around our race leader. There's the fresh tires there for you, working themselves around the race leader. And for Michael Newman, that puts him 1 lap down now on the racetrack. And obviously, with our race leaders and everyone else having to still make a pit stop, this could really launch him forward, could really cycle him closer to the front of the field. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, as he could be fastest truck right now on the racetrack, but as he sees everyone else pit, he may be able to leapfrog them on the front half of the strategy. Could work out very good for this number 12 ride, but on the second half of the strategy, he could start to fall back compared to everyone else's fresh tires, and as he does fall backwards, it could definitely send him deeper than what he was before. But for Michael Newman being that first driver on this strategy, man, this is a bold move. And you do see Kevin Winker, unfortunately for K-Dub, he has fallen a lap down. Kevin Winker is a lap down now out on the racetrack, so Cogdell has caught some of those lap cars, and for the 42, he's a lap down now on the Speedway. He's still got about 14 seconds between himself and Matthew Catania, meaning that he's got about 14 seconds between himself in the 0-1 ride of Rooster Rodden, meaning that Rodden is about 11 seconds or better behind this 42 ride. If we see a caution flag fly right now, Kevin Winker is in line to get that free pass. The lucky dog back onto the lead lap. For the 0-1 ride, he would be virtually trapped a lap down out there on the Speedway, and that is not a fun spot to be. He's down across the line. Our race leaders click off lap number 72, and I think we're going to get ready to start seeing a whole lot more cars start to head down pit road. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers that are starting to feel that fuel pressure gauge starting to dip down towards that yellow area, and that's going to make things very interesting, as now you do see Cogdell. He's going to move around this 87 machine, so now falling a lap down as well is John Herbert. So Herbert now a lap down, but here we go. Nate Cogdell, our race leader, heads down pit side. You got to get checked up. You do not want to get a penalty. We saw what happened to on that 0-1 ride on the penalty, and it looks like pit road entry clean and green for the 0-0, so Cogdell able to make that pit stop without a problem as of yet. Do not want to get a penalty here on exit, but there we go. There's that 318 ride of Catania, able to take the race lead away from Nate Cogdell, so Catania now out in front, but how much longer can he wait to make his way down pit side? Here comes Matt Hayden. Hayden's headed down pit road. Rusty Modesty's down pit side. Here comes Jimmy Fitzmaurice. John Herbert also down pit road. So a bunch of these drivers, there's 5 right there on lap number 73. They head down pit side, make their pit stops. Now we're going to see a bunch more. Here comes the 318. He's looking fast, and there it is. Black flag on Matthew Catania. Too fast pit road entry. He will get a hold here. He will get a hold. He will be stuck down pit road, and unfortunately for the 318, that is going to be massive. That is going to hurt his chances here a ton this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out for him. You did see the 0-1 slide through his pit box right there. That may cost him a couple more seconds, where could keep him trapped a lap down out there on the racetrack. As here we go, more drivers. Here comes Michael Madden, Caleb Kleiner down pit road. They're able to hit pit road speed. Here comes Keith Prince, Colton Hardy also down pit side. No other black flags out there on the racetrack, but we do see Nick Gardner stay out for at least another lap. So Gardner staying out here a little bit longer, trying to salvage everything he can and trying to keep him the benefactor of having the later pit stop here. Kevin Winker maybe on that same strategy. As here comes Gardner. I do believe this time he's going to head down pit road. So the 27 ride down onto the apron. He's going to try to get checked up, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, and there we go. As we did see John Herbert also get a penalty. Herbert gets a penalty, too fast exiting pit road. He will have to make a pass-through penalty. There's the 318 ride of Matthew Catania, finally able to leave pit lane. Unfortunately for the 318 ride, he will be a lap or potentially 2 laps down, and now we do see, looks like Caleb Kleinert also getting a penalty. Too fast exiting pit road. So Caleb Kleinert also going to get a black flag here this evening for Nick Gardner. He heads down pit side. Kevin Winker, the last driver yet to pit here this evening. We'll have to wait and see when K-Dub elects to make his way down pit road. Nick Gardner leaving pit road here. He's got to be careful, as here we go. We do see the 196. Caleb Kleinert makes his way down pit road, and we did see it's actually Colton Hardy also getting a black flag there on pit road. John Herbert also coming down pit side. He's got to be careful. You don't want to stack him up on top of him. You do not want to earn another black flag, but here we go. Drivers making their penalty stops here. Looks like pass through and potential stop here. Maybe holds. Looks like a pass through penalty here for Colton Hardy. For Caleb Kleinert here, it's a stop here. He's got to go into his pit box and serve time. Same with the 87 ride of John Herbert. So the more egregious of a penalty you get, the more you got to spend down pit road. And unfortunately for John Herbert and Caleb Kleinert, these are big, big penalties here, and especially for Kleiner, one of our playoff drivers. We saw that penalty for Matthew Catania, for Colton Hardy, for Rooster Rod, and all these guys getting these major penalties here this evening. What you got to really keep in the back of your mind now, if you're another one of our playoff competitors, you need to make it down pit road without a problem. You cannot have an issue making these green flag pit stops, because that could end your night in a quick hurry. We look at Rooster Rodden right now. He is a lap down still on the racetrack. Has not gotten that lap back. He is unfortunately got older tires than some of the drivers in front of him, like Kevin Winker, like Skylar Berry and Keith Prince. Now, Keith Prince and Berry are still on the lead lap, but they are very close to our race leader, Nate Congdale, who could put them a lap down. So right now, it is Kevin Winker. K-Dub is in that free pass position. He is 1 lap down here in this one, as Rodney, what's good, Rodney? Rodney says, it's an epidemic. He says, yes, it is, and it looks like it may be contagious here this evening. Airborne virus or something. Everyone's getting a black flag. It says, flag for you, and you. Everyone look underneath your seats. Everyone gets a black flag. No, I'm just kidding. Not everyone gets a black flag. Only the drivers that get caught speeding down pit road. As here we go. Cogdell still has the race lead here. He's able to cycle back out in front, but now he's on older tires, I believe. I don't think he took tires during that pit stop, and that will kind of cycle and balance things out, where he'll be on the same level playing ground as a lot of these other drivers that still have 2 sets of tires back behind pit wall, but for his big lead that he was able to build up, he is losing it in a quick hurry as Matt Hayden is hunting him down. Hayden has fresh tires. He still has 2 sets back behind pit wall, so he's not stressing about the fresh tires at this point in time. He is on his A game, and he is rolling up to that 0-0 in a quick hurry, and this is where it could hurt Nate Cogdell being much slower than everybody else. He has to make it another 35 laps or so before the next wave of green flag pit stops inside that 35 lap run. You just got to hope that you do not go a lap down, that you can keep some decent track position, you don't lose a lap, and you kind of stay right in the hunt here towards the front as Matt Hayden has the second spot, but quickly trying to hunt down our race leader for Michael Newman. He's back there in third, so he was able to leapfrog a lot of drivers with that earlier pit stop, but for the 12 ride, he will have to come back down pit road virtually 10 laps sooner than everybody else does on his next pit stop, which will probably bring him somewhere around to lap 100, lap 102, 103, somewhere in there by the time he has to make his way down pit side. Clinton would be there in position number 4 with Daniel Dow, Nick Gardner, Michael Madden, and Keith Prince, our top 8. Rusty Modesty back there in 9th, and Skylar Berry rounding out our top 10. Jimmy Fitzmaurice in 11th here in that 33. Ryan Kevin Winker, K-Dub, still the first car, 1 lap down, rolls there in position number 12. Colton Hardy now trying to jump into position number 13, which would make him the second car 1 lap down on the racetrack. Unfortunately for that number 01 of Rooster Rodden. Rodden will once again not be in that free pass position, even if Kevin Winker can somehow get his lap back for Rooster Rodden. He will not be in that free pass position as he scored back there in 14th. Matthew Catania even farther back behind these guys, also 1 lap down. He's back in that 15th position for Caleb Kleiner. He is now 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for this 196 machine, even though he's making some moves, he's passing some of these other guys that are a lap down, it is all for nothing because the 196 ride is a couple laps down. What he really needs to do right now is try to hunt down our race leaders, trying to pass them and get himself 1 lap down. If we start to see a couple caution flags, he won't be in line for a free pass. He may be able to get a free pass if everyone comes down pit road, but if one of our race leaders elects to stay out on the racetrack that's in front of him, he will be trapped 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and that would put him into a very bad spot. Same with John Herbert in the 87 ride. For Joe Bennett, unfortunately missed the start of this race. He is only about 3-4 laps down out there on the speedway, but for that 05 ride, really kind of out of it before this one even started. Jesse Calloway has yet to jump out onto the racetrack. Obviously, he is pretty much done and out of this race as our race leaders click off lap number 87. We do get a new car out in front. It is Matt Hayden. Hayden able to take the lead away from Nate Cogdell. So Cogdell now falls back into position number 3 as there goes Clinton Woodby right on around him. We see that second half of his strategy as Matt Hayden out in front leads the way here as lap number 87. I do believe we are, I don't even know, what is that, 80 laps left to go here in this race, ladies and gentlemen. About to be 80 laps left to go in this race as they complete lap 88 right there. Yeah, we're about 80 laps, somewhere around there, somewhere in that area. 80 laps, 79 laps, somewhere in that spot. We're over halfway nonetheless here, and we are seeing some crazy strategies being played out here, some crazy penalties. That pit road speeding penalty, man, you do not want to earn one of those tonight. You do not want to put yourself into that position because it may cost you a chance at a good run here tonight. And with how these guys are running, we've went virtually clean and green. No caution flag for incidences out there on the speedway. We've only seen that 1 yellow flag on lap 35 for our stage break. So this is a true testament of these drivers' talents that we've ran more than half of this race without seeing virtually a single issue out there on the speedway. And for a lot of these guys that are still in the lead lap, that are playing this strategy out, it is a good break for them. They are on the right side of things as of right now, and especially if it stays clean and green and we don't see any caution flags for the rest of this race, they're sitting pretty. They just got to make sure that their next couple green flag pit stops, that they are A-okay and that they do not make a mistake, they do not have a issue and get one of those penalties themselves and put themselves that far back here and put themselves into that hole that they do not want to be in. As right now only 11 drivers on the lead lap. Kevin Winker still in that free pass position with Colton Hardy, Roosterod, Catania, Kleinert, Herbert, all back there quite a ways. And unfortunately, it looks like Joe Bennett may have taken himself out of this race as well. I do believe Joe Bennett has taken that car off the racetrack. So he came down pit road and jumped back behind pit wall. So for the 0-5 ride, tough break there for Joe Bennett. Unfortunately, back now in the 18th position. That's where it looks like he will finish tonight off, as he is down pit side, and I'm not sure if he'll jump back out here or not, but out in front it is Matt Hayden. Hayden has the race lead, about 5 seconds between himself and Daniel Dow, is Dow able to make his way around Clinton Woodby. You see Nick Gardner right there in that fight towards the front. Michael Madden there, as well as Michael Newman back in position number 6. Now Newman did pit quite a bit earlier than everybody else, so he's on quite a bit older tires, and he is falling backwards here, as Nate Congdale also on the same strategy here. Obviously didn't pit early, but also on a old set of tires for the 0-0, and he continues to fall backwards as well, as he is now back into about the 8th position. He's just got to wait probably about another 20 laps or so. Hope that he does not lose a lap, that he does not put himself into that position late in this race, as he's kind of balancing out the tires here this evening. But as of right now, for that 0-0, it's going to put him into a very, very tough spot later in this race. Rusty Modesty back in 9th. Skylar Berry there in 10th. Jimmy Fitzmaurice in position number 11 here on the Speedway. Right behind him, you do see Kevin Winker. Unfortunately for K-Dub, Mr. Winker, he is the first car 1 lap down. Colton Hardy back behind him is the second car in line to get the free pass. So he's trying to hunt down that 42. Wants to make his way around Kevin Winker to now move Colton into the lucky dog position before a caution flag flies. Rooster Rodden, Matthew Catania all lap down, as well as Caleb Kleinert now down 2 laps here, and 3 laps down for John Herbert. So that is a tough spot for couple of our playoff drivers, man. Some of these playoff cats that are back here and that are, bound to potentially have a bad finish here this evening due to those penalties. When you look at Colton Hardy, Matthew Catania, and Caleb Kleinert, those are penalties you just cannot have. And I do believe, Rooster Rodden as well, another one of those. So basically our 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th place drivers, all drivers that were on that early strategy of running hard. Actually, Caleb Kleinert wasn't. Kleinert was on the other strategy here, where he didn't take tires during that first pit stop during our stage break, and still got that penalty, just pushing it too hard. He had a great game plan, may have worked out perfectly for him here tonight, but that penalty cost him dearly. And obviously the other pit road penalties here for Colton Hardy, Rooster Rodden, and Catania affecting them here tonight as well quite a bit. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out, as John Bernard Sr. says that number 3 car trying to get those cheeseburgers. Yes, he is. Keith Prince rolling right there in position number 6, man. He's looked very strong throughout this race, and he's on the right side of the strategy right now, but we've seen how dangerous that strategy can get down pit road. You just got to be picture perfect, cannot make a mistake, cannot put yourself into a penalty here down pit side, as we do see Michael Newman again making another pit stop here this evening. It seems like another rather quick pit stop for this number 12 ride. He was last down pit road on lap number 63, so virtually, I don't even know, what is that, 63 to lap number 97, that's 34 laps that he ran. I guess that's kind of right around his maximum that he could have ran, but he is going to pit quite a bit earlier than everybody else. But that means that more pit stops are just on the horizon, and we saw how crazy things got with that first wave of green flag pit stops. Will it be more of the same, or will drivers maybe realize that the officials, they are not messing around? They are not backing down. They are handing out these black flags like they are cheeseburgers, and unfortunately have already caught a few of our drivers off guard here tonight. Alrighty, as Matt Hayden does have the race lead, and you do see the 318 ride right here. That is Catania in front of Mr. Hardy or Hayden right now. So Matt Hayden potentially looking to try to put this 318 ride 2 laps down, is obviously trying to roll the strategy, maybe not taking tires during that stage to try to save a set as well, and try to get back to a level playing field with the rest of our race leaders here. For Matthew Catania, obviously a little slower out there on the racetrack on the older tires. He ends up losing another lap here Matt Hayden. So that does put Matthew Catania 2 laps down on the racetrack. If there's a caution flag right now for Matthew Catania being trapped 2 laps down and having so many other drivers that are 1 lap down in front of you, it's probably going to be the end of your race. It's going to take a lot to try and get waiver rounds or try to get lucky dogs and get yourself back into the lead lap, as you desperately need tires and fuel here over the next handful of laps. So you're forced to come down pit road and be trapped 2 laps down. The same goes for Caleb Kleiner, John Herbert, all these guys that are going to be in a very, very tough situation here in a quick hurry here tonight. And obviously being 2 laps down, never a good spot to be. But if you're Matt Hayden, you're out in front of the field. You got a 4.4 second lead. You're feeling pretty comfy here, as we do see Rooster Rod, and Rooster makes his way down pit side. So Rooster heads down pit road here in that 0-1 machine. And so far, no penalties here for that 0-1 ride. That's exactly what we want to see. You got to be very heads up. Do not want to earn another penalty, as it would virtually completely take you out of this race, and any opportunity to get lucky dogs or waiver rounds to get yourself back into the battle here this evening. And as we continue to click these laps off, it's going to get tougher and tougher and tougher for any of these drivers that are a lap down to get themselves back into the battle. So as of right now, not looking very good for Catania, Caleb Kleinert, Rooster Rodden, John Herbert. This is going to make things very tough on them all night long. Definitely going to be very, very tough to bounce back from those penalties. As Hayden out in front, still hold on to the race lead. Nick Garner rolls in position number 2. Clinton Woodby back in third, with Daniel Dow in position number 4, and looking for more Michael Madden there in that 5th spot on the speedway. The number 3 rider, Keith Prince, back there in 6th, with Rusty Modesty there in 7th. Skylar Berry sits in position number 8. Nate Cogdell back there in the 9th position. Jimmy Fitzmaurice rounding out our top 10 on the racetrack is Michael Newman in position number 11. Right now, Newman is the first car 1 lap down here. Our race leader quite a ways in front of him here as well. So unfortunately for Newman, he needs this to cycle through, as we do see Nate Cogdell make his way down pit side. So for the 0-0, heading down pit road this time, as here we go. Lap later, we do see Matt Hayden, lap 105, makes his way down pit side. So for the Racer Toyota, heads down pit side, and we start to see that second wave of green flag pit stops starting to get underway. We saw how quickly drivers came down pit road. Once we kind of start to see that first or second car kind of make their way down pit road, we really start to see the slew of other drivers make their way down pit side. Here comes Rusty Modesty. Here comes Colton Hardy. We do see Cogdell has made his pit stop. He rolls back out there. As of right now, the 3 other drivers that are on pit road, they have not gotten a penalty here. So for Colton Hardy and Rusty Modesty, that is great news. For Matt Hayden, good news as well, as our race leader definitely did not want to get a black flag out there, and you got to be very, very careful of that. As here comes Modesty down pit lane, as he's going to exit pit road, looking to see if we see any more of those black flags pop up. And as of right now, none of them popping up here. Colton Hardy, he's going to get ready to leave his pit stall. No black flag as of yet. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, he makes his way down pit side. Probably in the next, I'm going to say, 2 to 3 laps, we're really going to start to see more and more drivers head down pit road here and make their next wave of green flag pit stops. Here comes Matthew Catania. Catania in that beautiful 5-star machine, the Sonic Sour NOS Energy 318, makes his way down pit side here. So far, clean and good for the 318 ride that time, as he's going to get service, get tires, get fuel, get everything that he needs here to try to battle his way back into contention here tonight. Nick Garner, we did see run quite a bit longer there in that first run before making his green flag pit stop, as he's got the race lead. You do see the fresh tires right on around him there. There goes that 97 truck, able to make his way around the 27 in a quick hurry. As the fresh tires, oh so important here at Texas Motor Speedway. You can run virtually a second and a half quicker than most of these other drivers that are still rolling out on the racetrack. You look at Daniel Dow, he's still sticking out there. Madden, Clinton Woodby now going to head down pit side. He's got a big head of steam here. Woodby's got to be careful. Oh, baby, looks like he just got that thing checked up in time and does not get a black flag. That could have been game over right there for another one of our playoff drivers. But for Clinton Woodby, able to make a great pit road entry right there, just by the skin of his teeth before potentially getting a too fast entering pit road penalty for the 92. He heads down to his pit stall. He'll get his service, get ready to roll back out onto the racetrack, as we should see all these drivers virtually come back down pit road somewhere around lap number, let me guess here. So we're going to see a lot of these guys came down at lap 105, so probably around lap 140. We'll probably see them come back down pit road, which would give them about a 25, well, I guess 27 lap run to the end. That leaves them a little bit of extra fuel to be able to make it, a couple green-white checkers. I think that's really going to be the number for a lot of drivers. Somewhere around that lap, I'm going to say 137 to lap 140 of coming back down pit road. So for some of them, coming down pit road even later here, you can be a little bit more aggressive. You can be a little bit harder on your tires, knowing that you could make a big game plan here, as we do see Michael Madden, Keith Prince, Skylar Berry down pit road. As of this so far, no major penalties here for a lot of these drivers. Not a lot of them have gotten a black flag, or any of them this time have gotten a black flag for their pit road speeding penalties here this evening. As here comes Prince into his pit stall, Michael Madden down into his pit stall, Nick Garner makes his way down pit side here, as I do believe that should cycle Matt Hayden back to the point here. Hayden should be back out in front. Michael Newman will be back into second here, as we do see the 27 ride about to hit his pit stall in just a little bit. We're still waiting for Kevin Winker to make his pit stop. Obviously, he's been on a completely different strategy call here this evening, and for Kevin Winker, just trying to catch maybe a timely caution flag, maybe trying to save even an extra set of tires back behind pit wall for a late race caution flag. We'll have to wait and see what the strategy is here for that 42 ride. Is Cogdell going to look down below him, make the pass around the 42, and take over position number 8. Now for drivers that are still headed down pit road, we do see Caleb Kleiner, John Herbert down to his pit stall as well. These two obviously already a couple laps down, so you do not want to make another mistake. Caleb Kleiner able to make his pit stop without an issue that time, so no penalty there for the 196 machine. For John Herbert down to his pit stall. The crew's going to go to work, put a set of tires on. He's going to roll back out there. Just got to be safe down pit road. We're still waiting on, I believe, Kevin Winker, the only other driver left to make their green flag pit stop here on this cycle. So for K-Dub, he's kind of playing that strategy game and trying to bank on maybe getting the lucky dog or just getting a timely caution flag that it could potentially put him into a good position late in this race with some fresher tires than everybody else. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out for that Muleburger Custom Homes Winker Nation ride, as he rolls back there in about the 9th position, but does have to make that green flag pit stop here very, very soon. But as he continues to roll laps, he'll come back out onto the racetrack. Should have better tires than majority of our one lap down drivers as of Rooster Rodden. He's going to have about at least 14, maybe 15 lap better tires than Rooster and Colton Hardy and the 318 of Matthew Catania. So a lot of our one lap down drivers going to be maybe sitting ducks here for the 42 of Kevin Winker as he plays the strategy game out and continues the stretch of this fuel run. We'll have to wait and see when is it go time. When does he have to make his way down pit side, or if he's just trying to play some strategy here, maybe doesn't even have to make another pit stop after this one. Maybe he can leapfrog a bunch of drivers with continue to roll, but I don't know if he can, man. This is going to make it very, very interesting, as a couple laps from now, it's going to be virtually, what, a 40-lap run for him? Lap 77, that is what, 23 laps to 100 plus 15. Yeah, but 38, looking at almost a 40-lap run here on fuel for Kevin Winker, and unfortunately can't go any farther than that. Comes down pit side here on lap 116. So for Winker, I don't think that's going to get him to his number that he was looking for or hoping for to be able to get to the end of this race without having to make another pit stop. He can make another stop later in the race and kind of have decent tires over the final 10, 15 lap run, but we'll have to wait and see, and that's going to cost him right there. Slides through the box there a little bit, has to throw it in reverse before the crew can go to work. Luckily enough, he realizes that quickly, starts to get that service, as that is our final car to make this wave of green flag pit stops here, as Nice and easy. Down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4 for Mr. Matt Hayden. Down across the line. He will click off lap 118. So 118 laps left to go, and I do believe less than 50 laps left in this race. It's about 48 laps or so left to go here this evening. So we're clicking them off in a quick fashion, and we're getting closer and closer to that checkered flag as Hayden continues to lead the way. Almost 8 seconds between himself and Clinton Woodby as we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here at Texas. for all these drivers, a beautiful crank it up session here as we start to get into our next wave of green flag pit stops. We already saw our race leader Matt Hayden head down pit side. Now here comes the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Here comes Keith Prince, Skylar Berry, the 318 of Matthew Catania, who's a couple laps down, also down pit road here, making what could be their final pit stops. And for Catania, puts it through the pit stall, has to throw in reverse. That could cost him a second or two out there on the racetrack. As we do take a look at a few more of these drivers making their way down pit side. Here comes Michael Madden. We see Daniel Dow also heading down pit road. Nick Gardner as our race leader right now, kind of playing a bit of a different strategy call. He's been running a little bit longer out there on the racetrack compared to Matt Hayden, Clinton Woodby, and all these other drivers, but they kind of got right through their number there, that 139, 140-ish area where they know they're good on fuel. And even if we do go to NASCAR overtime and we have to do a couple of late race restarts or anything else, these guys should be good on fuel. They should be good to go. It doesn't look like so far in this wave of green flag pit stops that we've seen any black flags or anything. So for a lot of these drivers, that is good news. Not a lot of black flags or anything else being handed out this time around. Looks like everyone's got to learn their lesson, learn to keep a little bit of a closer eye on that speed, as you do not want to end up with a late race penalty or another penalty here to really ruin a good solid run here on the day. As Matt Hayden, he is going to come back around corner number 1, and he will take the race lead back away from Nick Gardner. So Matt Hayden once again back out in front as Nick Gardner just rolling out of the pits here. Now Gardner will have about 5 lap better tires than Matt Hayden, so he's got 5 lap better tires, which should help him out a little bit, especially later in the run. But the gap is so massive that I don't know how much they're going to be able to gain. They're going to need probably a caution flag to try and catch that 5 right of Matt Hayden as he came in with the points lead here this evening. Not a lot of a big points differential, but a big enough points lead that, man, he's feeling pretty good right now. Obviously, late race lead, almost a 10-second gap between himself and Nick Gardner. Now he gets to see Gardner and Woodby kind of battling there for a couple seconds for position number 2, with that 92 trying to take it away from Nick. Nick quickly jumps back out in front of him, but Clinton says, I'm not done yet. I want to keep fighting here for position number 2 on the speedway, knowing that there's more playoff points on the line for him to try to gain here in this race. Michael Madden back there in position number 4. Daniel Dow rolls there in 5th. Michael Newman there in 6th, with Keith Prince back in 7th. Rusty Modesty back in 8th. Skylar Berry, Nate Cogdell, our top 10 here on the racetrack. Kevin Winker, K-Dub, back on the lead lap here, but for Kevin Winker, does have to make an additional pit stop here in a little bit, but he is trying to play this strategy out perfectly, hoping that he could maybe catch a caution flag. If he could get a yellow, it could really help him out, could put a fresh set of tires onto the 42 truck and gonna be the faster ride out there on the speedway. But he's probably trying to wait another 5-10 laps before he makes his way down pit side, and as he does, it'll take him a lap down, probably put him back in behind Rooster Rodden, Colton Hardy, and a few of these other drivers back in towards that 13th, 14th position. You may be able to gain that back by the end of the race and slide in front of those guys. We'll have to wait and see. But for a bunch of our playoff drivers here tonight, not the runs that they were hoping for. You still look back there, you see Rooster Rodden kind of stuck back in 13th, still a lap down, still not the place that you want to be. Same with Colton Hardy back there in position number 14, also a lap down for Matthew Catania. Catania is 2 laps down out on the racetrack, and that is tough, very, very tough. His teammate Caleb Kleinert also just coming down pit road, making that pit stop. He is, I do believe, 2, maybe even 3 laps down now for this number 196 ride. I believe as the 5 rides right here in front of him, I do believe he is 3 laps down, but if he can get back around our race leader of Matt Hayden, it should put him to only 2 laps down. But this late in the race, you need an abundance of caution flags, an abundance of everyone coming down pit road for you to even be able to gain those laps back and to be able to get yourself back into the action here this evening. With how many drivers that have had mistakes down pit road, there's a lot of cats that are going to get lucky dogs and free passes before you do, and unfortunately that's just part of the game, and that's going to be a tough spot to be. As there you go, K-Dub is going to lose a lap here again to that 5 right of Matt Hayden as Hayden rolls around him. That will move Kevin Winker into the free pass position. He's in the lucky dog spot right now. If we were to get a caution flag, and for Kevin Winker, still has to make that green flag pit stop, he could end up being 2 laps down before the end of this race, making a late race pit stop here with only 17 laps left to go here in this race, man. We are clicking them off in a quick hurry. 16 laps left to go here in this race. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty in a quick hurry here this evening. 16 laps left here. And for these drivers, what a run it has been. Only one caution flag so far in this race. One yellow flag over 152 laps as our race leader heads down across the line. 152 laps, one yellow flag. It was not for incident. It was for the stage break at lap number 35. So that lap 35 yellow flag, the only yellow we have seen here this evening. Other than that, it's been all green flag racing here this evening. These drivers have been putting on an absolute masterclass of a race. But now we get to see kind of how this strategy plays out for drivers like Matt Hayden, Nick Gardner, Clinton Woodby, some of these guys that desperately want the points, want to make their statement here, trying to work themselves into what could be the championship race. Here we go. We finally see Kevin Winker head down pit road, so he's going to make his final pit stop here on the evening. Unfortunately, already a lap down. We'll probably fall 2 laps down here. And unfortunately, it's going to get very tough for him to try to gain those spots back here, as we do see Rooster Rodden headed down through corner number 3 and 4 here. He is going to end up passing that number 42 at Kevin Winker, as Winker just getting done his pit stop. Here comes that 0-1. Should go by him, should gain him about 5, maybe 6 second advantage here, as you do see Colton Hardy go by him as well. Colton now 2 laps down here to our race leader. That's a tough spot to be. Now 2 laps down. Rooster Rodden not too far away from also going 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. Kevin Winker 2 laps down, but building up that speed. He's got straight away in a bit to try to catch up to Colton Hardy and Rooster Rodden and our race leader Matt Hayden, to try to put himself into a position where he can be only 1 lap down and back into that free pass position. But that's going to be very tough to gain, as the 33 ride Jimmy Fitzmaurice also a lap down. Now he is in that free pass spot. Nate Congdale, he's not too far away from potentially going a lap down here himself on the same straightaway as our race leader Matt Hayden, as Hayden did have about a 10-second lead. About 4 or 5 seconds of that has evaporated. It's about 5.5 seconds back to our second place driver Nick Gardner. Gardner is on the A game here. He is really trying to hunt down this 5 ride late in this race. But could the strategy call be for Matt Hayden? Use the time that you have given yourself. Use that gap that you had coming out of pit road to try and save a little tire. Try to keep, a little bit underneath your, your back tires here, and make sure that you have some legs to stand on if there is a late race caution flag, and you don't have to make that additional pit stop here. You don't have any more tires, so you kind of got to run with what you got. So if you can save tires here throughout this bit of a run until the 27 ride can even get close to you, or you see the checkered flag, then you should be all right. But if he does catch you, you got tires to pull away from him. If there is a late race caution flag, you could have better tires than that number 27 and so the drivers around you, but he does have about 5 laps less fresh tires than that number 27 and Nick Gardner, and that could be pretty much the difference maker between what Nick is able to do and how he's able to gain up into that 5 ride. But he is running at a time in a quick hurry. Is heading down across the line. We'll complete lap 158, and that means we only got 9 more laps left to go. 9 more laps left to go here in this one, as we're getting very close to seeing the checkered flag here this evening in the paper cuts. 250 here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway. Huge shout out there to Paper Cuts. Huge shout out to all of our amazing sponsors here with the Metalheads Truck Series, bringing us these amazing shows and these amazing drivers here week after week to put on these events and put on these amazing races for us. And so far this season, it's been absolutely amazing. These guys have been putting on some masterclass shows. We've seen some craziness along the way, and obviously here tonight, there's a little bit more craziness with some of these green flag pit stops. Some of these drivers, making the different strategy calls, and it's either working out or it's really hurting him out there on the speedway. And as of right now, it's really working out for this 5 ride of Matt Hayden. We'll have to wait and see if he can hang on to the race lead. It is about a 4-second gap now between himself and Nick Gardner. So Gardner is closing that gap here, but with only 7 laps left to go, does he have enough time? Can he close that gap quick enough? He's been run about 3/10 quicker every single lap, and by my calculations, he's going to be probably about 5-6 laps shy of being able to catch Matt Hayden here this evening. So that is a tough spot to be for Nick Gardner, knowing that you may be kind of stuck in position number 2 for Clinton Woodby. I think he's realized that his fate is sealed. He's rolling here in 3rd, and he's looking to try to hold on to it, knowing that there's obviously a lot of playoff points on the line here to come home in 3rd, with everyone else running into some major issues out there on the racetrack, with Michael Madden back in 4th, Daniel Dow there in 5th, Michael Newman, Skylar Berry back in 7th, Nate Cogdell there in 8th, Rusty Modesty and Keith Prince rounding out our top 10, with Jimmy Fitzmaurice back there in position number 11 right now. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, the first driver 1 lap down out on the speedway. So he's the first car 1 lap down. He is in line to get the lucky dog, the free pass if a caution flag were to fly here late in this race. But with 5 laps left to go, I'm not sure if we're going to see a yellow, man. I don't know if we're going to see one here this evening. It looks like we may go clean and green here tonight for 167 laps. The only yellow we saw was for that stage break, so I will not put that on the drivers. That was just part of the race, and really we've ran, green flag racing, 160 plus laps here this evening without any issue, without any car going around, getting into the wall, having an issue where a caution flag wasn't needed. And that's just a testament of how good these cats are here this evening. Is Hayden nice and easy down the back straightaway here at the No Limits Texas Motor Speedway here this evening. The 5 ride heads us into corner number 3. Nice and easy, just rolling that inside lip, just making sure he's not going to make any mistakes or open up the door enough where he loses momentum and allows that 27 of Nick Gardner to catch him quicker than what he has been. Is down across the line. It is 3 laps left to go here for Matt Hayden. 3 laps left here for him to try to put an exclamation mark here on this race, on this event, as he has been absolutely lights out here. The strategy has worked out perfectly into his favor, and since he's gotten that race lead and the strategy started to go his way, he has been untouchable here this evening, as nice and easy down across the line. He will see 2 laps left to go. Next time by the white flag, he wants to see it. He does not want to see a yellow flag come out and potentially, make this race a lot more treacherous than what it needs to be. He just wants to see this one get done here without a yellow flag. He wants everyone to keep it straight, everyone to keep themselves out of trouble for the next half a lap to the minimum here, as he heads nice and easy down through corner number 3 and nice and easy out of corner number 4, back down across the line. Matt Hayden will see the white flag fly. So one more time around here for Matt Hayden, as Hayden gets the white flag the final time around here for our 4th playoff race of the season, our first playoff race of round number 2. Our 10 playoff drivers here this evening, all of them trying to put together a great race. For some of them, penalties have taken them out of contention, but for the 5 right, Matt Hayden came in with the points lead, and he looks to extend that points lead. It's down out of 4 for the final time, down across the line. It's Matt Hayden who picks up the checkered flag here this evening from Texas Motor Speedway. He picks up the Paper Cuts 250 checkered flag here this evening as Matt Hayden gets the win. It's Nick Gardner back in 2nd in the 92 of Clinton Woodby, who will round out our top 3. Michael Madden, Daniel down the top 5. Michael Newman, Skylar Berry, Nate Cogdell, Rusty Modesty, and Keith Prince are top 10 here this evening. Jimmy Fitzmaurice back at 11th. Rooster Rodden there in 12th. Colton Hardy, Matthew Catania, Kevin Winker, Caleb Kleinard, John Herbert, Joe Bennett, and Jesse Calloway are field here this evening for a couple of our playoff drivers. When you look back there deeper in the field, for Rooster Rodden to come home in 12th. Colton Hardy back there in 13th. Catania and Caleb Kleinard in 14th and 16th here. Obviously, very, very tough nights. All 4 of those playoff drivers had gotten penalties throughout this race. Pit road penalties were the big difference maker here this evening. And unfortunately for those 4 drivers, not a lot of caution flags, only the one for the stage break. They never got really the opportunity to earn that lap back and to put themselves back into contention and back onto the lead lap here this evening. And their finishes reflect that as they are back outside the top 10 here. But our points leader and our race winner, Matt Hayden, gets to burn down the house here, Texas style. Here this evening as Matt Hayden picks up the dub. He gets ready to celebrate a big win here in round number 2 of our playoffs. As we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up here into the broadcast booth for a little bit of post-race interviews. Honestly, for Hayden, big race for him. For Clinton would be another big race for that number 92 ride. As you take a look at the scoreboard up above us here, you're going to take a look here as well at our drivers that are a part of these playoffs, the drivers that came in a part of our top 10, and you can look at where they finished. So for Michael Madden, coming home, pretty solid top 5 run right there. Daniel Dow as well. You look at Skylar Berry, up inside the top 10, but you looked at the drivers that are on the outside here, looking in of a top 10 or even a top 15 run. Caleb Kleiner came in as our second highest position driver here in these point standings coming into tonight. He's going to fall probably close to the bottom of this list going into next week, and that's going to be a big hole for him to try to climb out of. Same with Catania, going from 3rd here, finishes back, and I do believe the 14th position. Not a good spot to finish there if you're Catania here this evening. Justin Ronan and for Colton Hardy, also back there deep outside the top 10 here, giving up a ton of points to Matt Hayden, giving up a ton of points to Daniel Dow and Michael Madden, and even for Clinton Woodby, going from 10th probably up towards 2nd to probably 3rd, somewhere in that area here, with a solid run here this evening as we'll get ready to pull Matt and the rest of our top 3 up here into the booth for their post-race interviews. As John Bernard Sr. says, sorry guys, looks like no cheeseburgers tonight. No cheeseburgers tonight. Oh, brother, you've been teasing us with cheeseburgers all season long, John. Come on, brother. Come on now. We want some cheeseburgers. Come on. I'm a fat guy. I like cheeseburgers. Let me get some. As here we go. We'll pull in Matt Hayden, our race winner, into the broadcast booth right now for his post-race interview. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
Yeah, I get you.
Matt, man, a week off, and here you come right back out, shooting your way to the front of the field here at Texas Motor Speedway, and what is a big race for you. Obviously, came in as the points leader, not much points difference between you and our 10th place driver here for the playoffs, but you come out, you play that strategy, you give up the stage points, knowing that you'd rather kind of be here towards the end and not there for those stage points, and for yourself, it works out perfectly as you jump up, you make some moves, the strategy works out perfectly for you, no caution flags to really mix this race up, and all of a sudden you find yourself just driving home nice and easy, staying breezy there on cruise control into victory lane here at Texas, man. Take us back through it and what's going through your mind right now as you're able to celebrate here on the front straightaway.
Yeah, we a little bit of luck with not having any cautions, which I kind of felt this track, as wide as it is, and setup being tight, which was a lot looser than what I thought it was going to be, but kind of had the idea that we get some long runs. So yeah, we gave up as much as we could on that first run, double stinted, and just said, hey, if we can just hang around. I actually was surprised at the pace we had coming out of the stage break, because we were on older tires, and I knew some guys, Nate put on freshies and was going to play rabbit. And I'm kind of surprised where we kind of sat on that run. Catania would have been up there. I'm assuming something happened to him on that first green flag pit stop, because he seemed like he had the better long run pace. So yeah, no, worked out. We and we're here to win races. I don't, the stage point thing, NASCAR needs to get rid of it. You hear all the real drivers say that needs to get rid of it. They need to just go back to pure racing, or if they do stages, get rid of the break. You don't need predicted cautions. I think it made for pretty crappy racing that first stint. I'm sure the broadcast wasn't that great to see everyone strung out and running half throttle half the race. So it is what it is. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, playoffs ended the last round with a win, started this round with a win. just trying to get momentum up before we close this thing out at Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And after a solid run like this, and as you talked about, some of the tough competitors that you have here that are in the playoffs, for four of them, they ran into pit road speeding penalties. We saw Rooster Ronning get one, Colton Hardy got one, Matthew Catania and Caleb Kleinert all got pit road speeding penalties here this evening, and unfortunately having to serve their black flags, either hold down pit road or having to make an additional pass-through penalty. They went 1-2 laps down there. I believe Caleb Kleinert got a pass-through with a hold down pit road, so it made it even worse for him, but for the other three men, just no caution flags, no brakes in the action, that they were never able to even get close to rebounding and bouncing back from those black flags here this evening. And it shows by them finishing, virtually 2 laps down behind you. And man, that's a tough race for them, but it's a great break for you and for 6 of the other playoff drivers being able to get a pretty solid finish and pretty good points gap between them and yourselves here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to what our team kind of use on these races. It's you have to start by not beating yourself. There's 15, 20, 25 other cars on track. Your race is just as much as with yourself what it is with everybody else, and penalties just kill your race. You can't have that, especially when the tracks run green like this for so long. It's a penalty it's over. So actually, I kind of felt like I was being ultra conservative getting on pit road. I would turn down on the apron in between 3 and 4. It felt like I thought that was a safe entry, and I was actually kind of surprised. I started seeing a lot of people would come off of 4 down that straight little chute, come to the restart zone, and then turn down real quick. So, I feel like I should have given up a lot of time doing that, but I don't know. Maybe running down the apron saved me a few seconds, because it seemed like after pitting a little bit early, we got up to a pretty good lead. Just had to manage it, but. Listen, I'm not going to lie. Nick had me scared. He was running me down both those times. So he definitely, if we had a little bit longer fuel run and a little bit more laps, I think he would have had me there. But luckily it worked out. So, yeah, real happy about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Worked out perfectly for you. Able to build a big enough lead and have that advantage there late in the race that even though he was hunting you down, just ran out of time and could never get back to your rear bumper here this evening. As Matt, you park it back up into victory lane here this evening. You start the second round of the playoffs on a high note here, hoping to carry that right on through to Vegas, trying to hunt for that championship here this season, man. Who would you like to thank, though, for another great run and another strong performance here tonight, parking that 5 ride back up into victory lane?
Yeah, I thank my guys over at Misfit Motorsports, Rusty Clinton, Jimmy Fitz. We talk every race through as far as strategy, tires, kind of what we expect with the race, and it shows with the finishes. I think that we get, and the strategy, it works out most of the time. Every now and then we get screwed on something, but um, outside of that, just want to thank everybody in the league for putting this on. Man, I look forward to Mondays, I think, more than anything. So it really kind of puts work Monday, kind of gives an upside to it. So happy to be here. Thank you for putting broadcasts on, man. Love going back. I'll be go back to watch this one later. And Lindsay Fitzmaurice for the glue keeping this team together. So appreciate everybody out there.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Matt, congrats on the win here tonight, man. Great run, great performance. We can't wait to see what you got in store for us next Monday night. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you back out there in the next one.
Appreciate it, Aaron. Thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matt Hayden. As Hayden comes home with the checkered flag here this evening. Now, we would get our second place driver, Nick Gardner, in here for a post-race interview, but I don't see Nick in the Discord any longer, so it looks like he has hopped out, probably already went to bed for the number 27 ride, so I can't pull him in if he's not in here, unfortunately. So doesn't look like we'll get a post-race interview here with the 27, but shout out there to Mr. Gardner. Solid run right there. And as Matt said, man, he was getting a little bit nervous if we had another, maybe 10 laps in this race that they could have made it on fuel. Potentially, Nick could have hunted him down and took this win away from him. Clinton could have maybe jumped up there as well, but unfortunately, never got that opportunity. So Nick comes home in position number 2. Shout out there to all of his fans in the stands and family members that tune in and watch the 27 ride, and we can't wait to see him back out there on the racetrack next Monday. As we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 92 ride, Clinton Woodby. Woodby does come home here in third, so let's pull him up here into the booth. Hey Clinton, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Yeah, I got you.
Clinton, man, another strong run, another great race here for you. Obviously, strategy was the name of the game here tonight, and it worked out fairly well for you. Obviously, you, Hayden, Madden, Dow, a lot of you guys on kind of a different strategy compared to some of these other drivers that were hard on it early on. Use that first set of tires during that first stage break, and obviously, some of them, felt that pain through not being able to run faster throughout a longer period of time when we look back at Skylar Berry and Nate Cogdell, but you look even further back at some of the other playoff competitors like Rooster Ron and Colton Hardy, Matthew Catania and Caleb Kleinert, who all got black flag penalties for speeding down pit road. And here tonight, you're able to use it all to your advantage and come home with a very solid third place run and move yourself pretty far forward here in the point standings.
Yeah, I believe I went from 4th to last on the first lap. I just tried to save tires as soon as I could. That was the only chance I figured I had to even be in there at the end. Save or double stint them, get it out of the way. Then after that, you can just kind of run your fuel out and just keep going. You don't have to worry about running slow lap times after pitting again. You're just trying to go after that.
Yeah, absolutely. That strategy played out perfectly here as we saw it, work out really, really good. And we saw a lot of you guys come down pit road, just took fuel only during that first caution flag for the stage break. And then obviously for a lot of these other drivers, burn up that extra set. They had to try to play that game where they had to try to save a little later on. And it really slid them back. When you look at Cogdell, it slid him back a long, long ways during a bit of a longer run, and unfortunately for the 0-0, just never really got a chance to kind of battle back from that, never really got a chance to kind of rebound and work his way back up towards the front like he was early on when he was burning up those tires and building big, massive leads out there. And obviously late in this race, caution flag could have happened, anything could have happened to really, mix this up a little bit more. But for you guys, a testament of how good this entire field is, man. No caution flags for incidents here on the evening, and it works out perfectly for you as you come home in that third and final podium position, man.
Yeah, this isn't one of my favorite tracks and not one of my best either, so I'll take another podium at a track that I'm not good at, in my opinion. So looks like the points are going to be pretty tight for the next round after the reset, so we'll just have to go on to Indy and go for a win after that and knock our way in.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how it plays out here next Monday night. But for yourself tonight, man, hell of a run, hell of a drive, and a solid third-place finish here this evening. Clinton, who would you like to thank for such a great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Megan and Blair Peterson, Winning Bid Diecast. Go get all your NASCAR stuff from him. All my teammates, and you guys for the broadcast and the league for putting all this on. It can be a lot to deal with us drivers sometimes, so I appreciate them for doing this for us.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Clinton, heck of a run, heck of a drive, man. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Monday night, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one.
You do. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher. Clinton Woodby comes home in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 92 ride as he rounds out our podium here this evening. That will bring the action to a close here on the night. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. All the likes, the comments, the shares, man, we appreciate each and every single one of you. If you haven't already, it's not too late to hit the like button on the broadcast for us right now, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch or YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for us, and then definitely hit that subscribe button. Become a brand new member of the Peacemaker family here today by hitting that subscribe button right now and joining the always growing Peacemaker family here this evening. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough just for tuning in, man, showing the love, watching, enjoying some of this amazing racing action here this evening. And we'll be back in action again potentially tomorrow night. We'll have to wait and see. There was a plan of a charity race. I'm not sure if that's still happening or not tomorrow, or if it's getting pushed back another week. So we'll have to wait and see how that gets played out. But I do know that we'll be back here in the booth putting on more amazing races here throughout the rest of the week. Man, we can't wait to see you guys back in the grandstands cheering on our drivers here on Peacemaker Gaming. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, friction sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist, every moment surreal. Checker flag whispers, a siren's call. Only one metalhead lies above it all. Turbocharged fury on straight we fly. Nitrous veins pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Wah! Mellow bass screaming, rubber burns on black. Engines roaring thunder, ain't no turning back. Peacemaker, friction sparks light the night. Track of war sounds, adrenaline takes flight. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead. Chasing that cloud through the chaos insane. Diesel hearts pumping, it's a high-speed game. Victory lap, gonna carve out the name. Rebels on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Rivals on my six, but my grip don't waver. Drafting with sharp, every move's got flavor. Brakes don't squeal, they scream in heat. On the asphalt battlefield, where the fierce come paint. Tires grip tight, flames dance on steel. Spins and skins twist. Nitrous face pumping, we touch the sky. Back grandstands buzz, saying our name. Each lap we caught ignites the game flame. Metalheads moving, the trucks take the lead, chasing that cloud through the chaos insane.